As the world watches the Russia-Ukraine war enter yet another year, hopes for peace remain fraught with uncertainty and complex realities. Recent developments have brought a new ceasefire proposal from Russian President Vladimir Putin, but the terms have sparked immediate and resolute rejection from Ukraine and its European allies. Putin's latest offer demands that Ukraine cede control of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions in the east, as well as Crimea, a peninsula annexed by Russia in 2014. Furthermore, Ukraine must pledge to remain outside of NATO, a condition that directly contradicts Kyiv's long-standing aspirations for Western integration and security. In exchange, Russia promises to halt its advances in the southern territories of Kherson and Zaporizhzhia, and may consider returning small occupied areas in Sumy and Kharkiv. The plan also calls for formal recognition of Russian sovereignty over Crimea and for the Russian language to be granted official status within Ukraine. While these terms represent a significant shift from previous Russian positions, they fall far short of what Ukraine, led by President Volodymyr Zelensky and its European partners, find acceptable. Zelensky's response has been unequivocal. He insists that the future of Ukraine cannot be negotiated without the direct involvement and consent of the Ukrainian people, who have endured nearly 4 years of war defending their sovereignty and freedom. European leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron, have reiterated their steadfast support for Ukraine's territorial integrity. Concerns abound that the international community could pressure Ukraine into accepting unfavorable terms simply to end hostilities. But so far, the consensus remains that any peace must respect Ukraine's independence and borders. Amid these diplomatic maneuvers, United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio has urged caution, while acknowledging that a ceasefire remains possible in theory. Rubio warns that a genuine agreement is likely still far off. Both sides must make real concessions, something neither Moscow nor Kyiv appears ready to do. The deep mistrust and divergent goals on both sides make it difficult to envision an imminent breakthrough. Analysts now outline 2 prominent scenarios for the war's outcome. The first is a partition with protection, where Ukraine would lose control over some territories but gain robust Western security guarantees, possibly through defensive alliances and economic support from the United States and Europe. The second scenario is a partition with subordination, in which Ukraine not only surrenders land, but also loses key aspects of its autonomy, potentially leaving it vulnerable to ongoing Russian influence and future incursions. Chatham House, a leading think tank, frames the future of the conflict in terms of 4 broader endpoints. The first is a prolonged war, continuing to drain resources and cause suffering on both sides. The second is a frozen conflict, in which active fighting abates but political tensions and instability persist for years. The third scenario is a Ukrainian victory, which would likely require substantial Western military and economic support. The fourth is a Ukrainian defeat, entailing far-reaching consequences for regional stability and international norms. Each of these paths carries enormous political and human costs. The possibility of a quick resolution appears increasingly remote. Experts caution that the world should not expect a negotiated peace anytime soon. The current dynamics, deep-seated grievances, irreconcilable demands, and high stakes mean that the conflict is likely to persist, shaping the future of Europe and global security for years to come. In the coming weeks and months, observers can expect continued diplomatic maneuvering, shifting alliances, and new proposals. Daily updates and informed analysis will be critical as leaders search for solutions. For now, the crisis remains unresolved, with peace on the horizon seeming as elusive as ever. The fate of Ukraine and the broader international order hangs in the balance.